Good morning, depending where you're listening from. For me, it's, kind of mid-morning, I guess. It's like 11:15 or something. I hope you're doing well. I just wanted to jump on here and talk about this week's theme and share a quick little practice. Maybe it'll be a bit challenging, a chance to kind of show that inner strength. So this week we're speaking about resilience and how, nowadays in this modern, always on doom scrolling world, our resilience is actually suffering quite a lot. So I'm sure maybe a lot of you are familiar with the fact of dopamine, that when we do reach for our phone and we do that kind of doom scrolling scenario, our body receives a lot of dopamine, those little hints of pleasure. Now, the problem with this is that our brain gets reliant on this, right? And when we're faced with a challenging or potentially kind of stressful situation, we're less likely to engage with it, and we're less likely to push through and be resilient in those moments, because our brain is very clever and our brain remembers that it can get pleasure very quickly throughout, flooded throughout our body simply by picking up the phone and going through that content. And, that's why social media is so addictive. But it's not all negative. There is a way to kind of, what's the word I want to say? Improve your resilience or kind of build it back up. And that's through yoga. And maybe your perception of yoga is going to a 1-hour class. Maybe it's a vinyasa class, moving fairly quickly, doing some complicated poses, and you feel a bit lost, a bit unsure of what you're doing. Maybe they're using some Sanskrit names. But I want to show you that yoga is so much more than that. And with this topic of resilience, there is so much that the yoga can offer. It's really about connecting back inwards, connecting to yourself and listening to that inner voice, ignoring the external noise. And by putting ourselves in those moments of discomfort, maybe it's just sitting in silence, maybe it's trying a challenging pose, we allow ourselves to push through, to have that inner strength, to have that mental resilience, right? So for today's kind of mini practice, I just wanted to share some tips about maybe how to get into crow pose. This may be a pose that you've seen and you feel it's very unachievable for you, or you're just kind of like, there's no way that I can do this at all. But I want to prove you wrong. Okay, so let's head to the mat. Come into a comfortable cross-legged position. We'll just take a moment just to ground down here. Closing down the eyes, relax the shoulders down. Taking some big, deep breaths. Just allowing yourself to sit in this silence, to sit in this moment. Rooting your sit bones down into the ground. And with every breath, with every exhale, just allowing that spine just to lengthen up a little bit more. As if someone is pulling you up from the crown of your head. Just breathing here. And just connecting to that word resilience. What comes up when I say it out loud? What comes up when it comes to your mind? Maybe you can think of the last challenging situation you were in, how it felt, how you dealt with it, what lessons you learned. And just take that sense of connection, that sense of inner strength throughout you as we move through this short practice today. Let's blink open the eyes. I want you to take your arms out in front of you and just start to gently roll your wrists here. So very often in these more challenging poses in our asana practice, the most important thing is really the warm-up. By prepping the body, by going through the movements, changing direction if you haven't already, by going through these movements and kind of understanding the shape that our body is going to be in, this really sets us up for success in the poses. Okay, now I want you to flex your fingertips up. Imagine you're pushing into a wall, getting that nice stretch all along the forearms and the wrists. And fold your hands down so the fingertips face the floor. Making sure we're keeping the breath moving here, never forgetting about the breath. Good, one more here. Let's clasp our hands together and just roll out those wrists. And in crow pose particularly, our hands are used as brakes really. They're the things that stop us from face planting on the floor. So it's really important that we show them some love. Make sure they're nice and warm, maybe a little bit flexible. Final one I want you to do is imagine you're hugging this giant big beach ball and you want to start flicking your fingers as if you have water on them. Just flicking off that water, trying to dry them out. Just breathing here, coming back to the breath. Noticing if it starts to get a little bit uncomfortable. Noticing what comes up into the mind. Smiling your way through it. Breathing into the challenge. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release those hands down. Let's give them a bit of a shake. Maybe you started to feel the muscles activating throughout the arms. Okay, let's come into a seated position. And what we're going to start with is we're going to do crow pose seated. Okay, so it's like I said at the beginning, the warm-up is often the most important thing, kind of familiarizing our body with the shape of the pose. So I want you to get nice and grounded into your sit bones, feet planted on the floor. We can lean back a little bit, arms go out, and again we want to flex our wrists so that our fingertips are pointing upwards. We're pushing into the wall. Imagine we're pushing everything down, having a nice kind of rounded back, protracting the shoulder blades. From this position, just maybe see if you can lift one foot, maybe the other. And here we are balancing on our bum in our seated crow pose. So this is the shape that we want to make when we move into our arm balance. Let's gently lean ourselves back, maybe straighten out the legs, come into a bit of core work. Inhale brings our legs back in, our knees to our upper arms, just above our elbows. Exhale, straightening out the legs. Inhale, brings them back in. Straighten the legs. And brings them back in. Brilliant. Let's just gently release our hands down. Hug in our knees. Give ourselves a nice big hug here. And let's gently roll down onto our back and take it into a lying down crow pose here. So we roll down onto our back, knees again, come into our chest. We want to bring our knees, ideally we want our knees in our pose to come anywhere from our armpits up to our elbows, so anywhere in this top arm. Bringing our knees in, pushing our hands up to the ceiling. So imagining we're pushing up the ceiling here. And from this position, let's gently lower our feet down as we do some toe taps. Inhale, back up. Exhale to lower down, feeling that core switching on. Inhale, back up. Exhale down. Inhale, back up. As you come back up, maybe just see if you can lift the bottom up off a little bit. And exhale, tap down. Inhale, lift the bottom up. Exhale, tap down. Last one here. Inhale, lift the bottom up. Stay here and then just see if we can lift the shoulders, tucking the chin to the chest, lifting the shoulders off the ground. Pushing the spine down into the earth, engaging the core. Breathing into any shakes. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hugging those knees into the chest. Let's gently rock and roll ourselves back up, coming to a seated position. Our final warm-up we're going to take is Malasana, so yogi squats. So we want our feet going out to the outer edges of the mat, coming down into our squat. Now, depending on your hip flexibility, I'll just move into the center a bit. Depending on your hip flexibility, you might be up here, and that's okay, just gently resting your arms onto your knees. You might be a little further down, but maybe your heels are lifted off the ground. Also, don't worry, over time, you will be able to gently ease those heels down. Just working with your own body, with your own needs today. Gently moving from side to side, warming up that hip space here. Well, in Malasana, let's bring our hands into prayer position in front of the chest, and we just gently want to squeeze those knees in against the elbows. As we do this, we're engaging the pelvic floor here, which is really going to help us to stabilize in our crow pose. And release. Exhale to squeeze. Inhale to release. Exhale to squeeze. Inhale to release. Excellent. So let's set ourselves up for our crow pose. Now, if you have a pillow, I'm just going to grab one here. It's a great idea just to put it in front of you, just to train your brain that the fear of face planting is okay. Because if you face plant, you have a pillow in front of you, so it's not going to hurt. Okay, what we want to do is we want to get into our Malasana. Our arms go out in front of us, and we want to lift. We want to place our knees onto the upper arm. Now this position will vary depending on your body, depending on the level of hip flexibility. Again, you might be able to get your knee further up your arm, or if you don't have so much flexibility, you might be closer down to your elbow. There is no right or wrong, it's really just a case of playing with your body. Let's place those hands down into the floor. Now, as I mentioned, these act as your brakes, right? So we want to push down into the ground, kind of claw the hands, so that when we shift forward, they stop us from shifting too far forward and falling onto our face. Just try now, just place your hands down onto the ground, and then just gently lift up your knuckles while pushing your fingertips down into the ground, shifting your weight forward as we do it. Just noticing how that feels, okay? This is called Hasta Bandha, and it's basically this energy lock that we're using throughout our hand. And by pushing our fingertips down into the ground, lifting up the knuckles, we have a really firm base into the palm, and all of the energy is shooting up our arm, and into the rest of our body, which really helps us to stay strong and firm in our crow pose. From here, we're placing our knees onto that point in the upper arm. We want to lift up our bottom, lift up our hips, and we just want to start gently shifting our weight forwards. Okay, so we're going really slowly, shifting our weight forwards. The important thing here, actually, is to gaze forward. Okay, it's really natural to gaze downwards, but where we gaze is where the energy flows. So if we gaze downwards, we're definitely going to go down, and we want to go forward. Okay, so we have our gaze forward, hands in position, hands about shoulder width position, lifting up the hips, gaze forward, shift the weight, 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 and then maybe one foot comes up. Place it down, and then maybe the second foot comes up. Place it down. Coming back. Just have a play with that in your own time. Okay, so we want to make sure our hands are shoulder width apart, our knees are up, close to our armpits. Sorry. We lift the hips up, we shift our weight forward, using our hands as brakes. Maybe one foot comes up, place it down, and then the other foot, place it down. Let me know how you're getting on in the chat. I'd love to know your progress, or in the comments below, depending wherever you're watching this. Okay, if you want to stay there, just play with the weight shifting, play with using the hands as brakes, play with engaging your core, squeezing your pelvic floor. If you want to take it a little bit further, maybe lift up both feet. The important thing is not to jump into crow pose, because if we jump, we're using momentum and we're more likely to fall forward, to fall out. We don't need momentum in crow. We just need the weight shift, okay? So hands to shoulder width, knees to armpits or to the point on the upper arm that works for you. Gaze goes forward, shift, 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 until elbows over wrists, one foot lifts, and then the other. And then you want to squeeze your inner thighs together, feet up to bottom, and breathe. Don't forget to breathe. And release back down. So have a go playing with your crow. Again, let me know how you're getting on. I would love to, hear maybe if something's coming up for you while you're having a play and kind of trying maybe a slightly more challenging move. Let's do that one more time. Hands shoulder width, fingertips gripping the mat. Knees in between elbow and armpit. Gaze goes forward. You want to think about rounding the spine as well. Shifting forward, shift, 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 shift. Elbows over wrists. Feet lift up. Squeeze everything in. Engage. Breathe. Smile. And face plant. See, even yoga teaches me mistakes. What matters is that you jump back in and you keep trying. And you push through those moments of challenge, you push through those moments of stress, and you have fun while doing it, right? So, let's just close our eyes. Come and sit back on your heels. Relax the shoulders down. Just take a bit of grounding to close. Breathing in and out of the nose. Let's take one big releasing breath. Inhale. And exhale, let it go. Notice how you feel after. how just playing around, connecting to your body, finding maybe some physical strength, more importantly, finding that inner strength. How does that make you feel? For me personally, I know whenever I put myself into a slightly challenging position and push past it, it's so incredibly empowering. I really feel like an absolute boss. It's an amazing way to start my day. Bringing both hands together in front of our chest at heart center, gently bowing the chin to the chest as a sign of gratitude. Thank you for joining me in this short practice today. Thank yourself if you made time to tune in and watch this. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope that this little breakdown of Crow that I did for my Instagram live really helped you to potentially fly. I mean, it's super exciting just to get a little bit of airtime and show yourself that you really can do anything if you put your mind to it and have the right tools, set yourself up for success. If you're interested, please head to my website where I have some more of these videos. I also have a blog, a podcast, and I love sharing content with you to help you have a little detox from dopamine. If you're a little bit impatient, then no problem. You can already join my free 5-day digital detox challenge, where we go through 5 days of tuning back into ourselves, finding some balance with technology, reclaiming our time, and just letting go of things that no longer serve us. Every day you get a 10 to 15 minute yoga flow, you get a mindful activity through an audio file that you can do at any point throughout your day, and you also get a reflection prompt where you can just sit and write, get things out of your mind and onto some paper and see what comes up and see how you feel. Finally, I'm really excited to announce that I will be launching an online community focused around these types of flows to help disconnect and have a detox from dopamine. So I would love to see you there. Head to my website where you can already sign up for the waitlist. And otherwise, I will see you guys again very soon. Thank you so much for joining. Bye!